Hello. So it's been a while. Um, well, maybe not that long, but today I want to talk about my take on being a featured background artist or extra, as we used to call it, um, in Hollywood, and also as a SAG-AFTRA union work versus the non-union. Um, Let me just say it was really fun. Like, of course, I had to take 3 COVID tests because of the pandemic, and but they weren't that bad, and we get paid really well for each test. Um, I remember afterwards because the test site was close to, well, it was in Santa Monica, so it was only maybe a couple miles from the beach. And of course, I had to go to the beach afterwards. And it was really fun because each time I went, um, the first day, the beach was really fun. Just enjoying the rays and seeing not too many people there because it was a pandemic after all, and the variant is happening right now. Although I don't think people are as cautious as they used to be when the pandemic hit almost 2 years ago. But it's still it's still a scary time. Anyways, then the second day that I did my testing, I went to the farmers market in the Santa Monica and I got to taste fresh dates. I mean there's no tasting anymore because of the pandemic. I just meant that I bought them and I ate them. I had fresh dates and there were so many different variation on the fresh dates too. It was kind of really interesting. And I got some farm fresh eggs that were free range that I was really looking forward to, but it didn't taste well. I mean, I was really disappointed. It tasted nowhere better than the Trader Joe eggs, which is like sad because I paid twice as much for it. But anyway, I think I digress because on the day of the set, um, of a major studio. Of course, can't reveal these things because they're not air yet. But the moment I walked in, we checked in. Um, oh, I have to tell you, before I went to this, I went to a first studio for a fitting. And the fitting, it was so hot, and we had to wear an N95 mask, which is fine. And they told us to wear a white T-shirt and some sort of legging, which I did. And then I did my fitting, and it was really fun. I felt like a model, where everyone's just um, fondo and at just like they um, make they measure your waist and bust line and hip, and then they find your shoes and earrings and anything you need. I mean, the studio had everything. I mean, everything. It was like you walk in and you see racks and racks of clothes from every imaginable era. I saw a lot of the 60s clothing, lots of jeans. It'd be like a warehouse of clothes, like a really good Goodwill. That's how I would see it. Um, and and the people were just really really nice. So when I finished my fitting the next day after the 3 COVID tests were negative, yay! Um, I went to the studio early in the morning, but not too early. My call was 9 a.m. It was 8:30, then they changed it to 9 a.m., which is great. Um, and the moment I walked in, I checked in. They give you an N95 mask again, and then I checked in, they got my name down, and they said, feel free to have breakfast. And my God, the food, may I just say that the food is amazing. Like, like I would be a background um, extra any day in a major union show because my God. So I had my choice of bacon and eggs, your typical choice, and of course there's tacos and omelet made to your liking with everything you'd ever want on it. I just wanted, I think I asked for mushroom and what did I ask for? Yeah, sun-dried tomatoes. So good, so good. Then I met my fellow um, featured background. Now, being a featured background, I guess, is like being almost like a cast member, because and like I have, of course, been on um, the, the as a cast of My Vietnam in non-union, where I got my makeup done and we ate, but we ate separately from the cast. It's kind of the same thing, but I feel so pampered because there were like 50 or more extras um, there, but because I was one of 3 featured extra, which I think just means that they would see our faces. Maybe. Who knows what it means? Except I'm dressed in the costume of the time or the costume of the event, let's just say. And I get to go on in the trailer instead of outside where all the other extras were, um, to have my makeup and hair done. So I felt so pampered, and they had my call said to be makeup ready, meaning to already have my makeup on, and I'm like horrible at putting on makeup. I mean, like I tried for my Vietnam and I was just not happy with the result because I just didn't know how to, and the makeup just accentuate all your flaws, especially since I didn't know how to cover up my flaws like the wrinkles and all that. But I this time I guess I learned enough to know just to dab on like where I think I needed like some coverage, like freckles and here and there. And then I just said I'm not gonna even try covering up my wrinkles because usually the makeup just like just goes into the crevice, and then by the end of the day you just look like 1,000 years old mummy. I mean, I kid you not. So I just did very mild like makeups, so minimal, and the makeup artist said, "Oh, you have some makeup on," you know, and I was like, "Yeah, but I'm not really good at it." And she's like, "No, you did a good job, and that means I'll just put some blush on you." I'm like floored because I thought, "No way." And then I realized that it was more so that I went to the beach for 2 days before set, so my skin was sort of really very tan, so it looked like I had makeup on. Um, and at first I was like, how come I didn't have as much makeup as everyone else? But then I realized, hey, she was complimenting me that I was, that I did a good job on my makeup. So I'm more confident that I can do a better job. At least, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I was like happy that I walked in with the same amount of makeup that I did, you know, when I walked out, except maybe a little bit more blush, and that was it. Um, and what else? And then lunch. Oh God! I mean, they had salmon, they had steak, and every imaginable types of drink you want, except alcohol, of course. They had just everything, and we're all COVID um, safe, of course, we all have our own table. I think the minimum, I mean, the maximum amount of people per table is two, and we have to sit 6 feet apart. And these are like long um, lunch table that could sit like maybe 10, and there's only two of us there. And I really enjoy my meal, and I took a lot because I love food and I wanted to taste everything, and I also wanted to save some for my kids to have too, because knew I was going to be home late, like super late, and I wanted them to just get a taste of what it's like to be on. I mean, what the food is like on a set. And then when I'm on the set, I see my fellow actors that I did not know was also cast, and I'm so happy. It's like a reunion, and we had so much fun. And then I'm the featured dancer with two of my other fellow actors, and we're so happy just to be there. And the funny thing is that the director is so very, he has a very gentle touch, so that I didn't even know who the director was for the longest time until like I think like the 10th take. Um, and he doesn't say much, but everyone is doing their job, and it it feels, it was cool to be on set with professional people and to be surrounded by professional background artists. It's my very first time, and to have that first time be featured, meaning I just got pampered in a different way than other background artists, was really, I don't know, I just felt really special, I guess. I had a really good experience. And the thing that surprised me, because I just thought when I was on my um, non union set, that, when people still act, even though the camera is not on you, I just thought that was silly, because why? You know, um, but it was the same on the union set in this TV show. Even though the camera wasn't on the background, they just act as if it was. And it was just, I mean, it was perplexing, but I guess kind of fun. I mean, I get it. And And one day, if I direct, I don't know if I do. Ask the actors to do the same thing, but maybe it just to get you in the mood. Wow, it's 13 minutes and I am rambling on. But let's just say by the end of the scene, which I think we did like at least 20 takes, and after a while, my excitement has waned, and I'm exhausted, just exhausted. And I see people putting their head down on the table. The scene is like a wedding party, and um, and it's like a real, you know, the way I remembered being in a wedding after a long, long day and night, and now we're all exhausted, and we've had a little too much to drink or eat, and we're tired, and that's how I feel, and I want to take a long nap, but we still have to keep going, and exert, or at least expend the same amount of energy that we did from the very, just like as if it was the very first scene. And I have major respect for background actors now. I mean, major respect. They really take their job seriously. And the friends that you meet, not that they're gonna be lifelong friends, but it's really fun. They're like very fun, genuinely happy to be there people. And the food, may I just repeat myself and mention how wonderful the food was? I mean, 5 stars, 5 stars out of 5. And let's see what else. And then at the end, when everything is done, the PA, production assistant, or whoever, would actually come find me, um, to make sure that I get to go back to the studio, because forgot to mention that they bussed us from the studio to the location. And and then at the end there was so much snack that people can just take. So I grab a bunch of chips and cookies and whatever just to bring home to the kids again. Um, and then I got home and I was very exhausted and kind of glad that I didn't have to do another shoot because I think I missed out on what was it? I had a call back, but I was busy with this one, so I couldn't, or at least I replied too late, so that I didn't get to do that shoot. And I was disappointed at the time, but I'm like realizing, oh, I'd be so exhausted because it'd be just, you know, just not enough time to rest in between. But anyway, that's my take on what it's like to be in a background or an extra in a union um, big Hollywood production. And you know what? It's really, really fun. And I think I recommend it to anyone just to try it for once because you get to peek inside how everything is done, like how the shows are done, and it was really exciting. Anyway, um, thank you for listening.